What's going on, guys? Brian here, and I've got a game of Modern Warfare 2 for you. This is going to be Team Deathmatch on Scrapyard. I had a question I wanted to ask you guys. Maybe you could shed some light on it for me and let me know how you guys feel about it. It's going to be sports related, and that is when your team's not doing well, doesn't make the playoffs, loses a big game, is having a bad season, how much does it really affect you? I mentioned to you guys many times before, probably in other videos of mine, that I'm a big sports talk guy. You know, I listen to sports talk radio pretty much every morning when I'm in the shower, in my car, to and from work. You know, I put it on, I listen to it through my iPhone while I'm at work sometimes. And even once in a while when the radio's working right and I can get away with it, I put sports talk on the radio throughout my entire building at work. And a lot of the guys on there, the hosts and people that call in, really keep the team's loss, bad season, playoff loss, whatever it may be. It seems like they carry it with them for an extended period of time, and just by the sound of some of the conversations, it really seems to me some people let it affect their day-to-day life for an extended period of time. I mean, I'm going to use a couple of my teams in the Philadelphia area just as an example. I'm not going to go into too much details. I know you guys are from all around the country and all around the world for that matter, so I know you don't want to hear too much details about just my Philly teams. But, this most recent season, the Philadelphia Phillies, were touted to have one of the best pitching rotations of all time to rival those of the, vaunted Atlanta Braves pitching rotation with Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz, and Avery. The Phillies this year had Halliday, Lee, Hamels, and Oswalt. And they were, the #1 pick to go to and win the World Series this most recent season. And they got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. And also this year with the Philadelphia Eagles, many people were calling them the Dream Team. I don't really like that term, other than when the NBA Olympics happened many years ago with all the star guys like Michael Jordan, Larry Bird, and whatnot. Mainly because a lot of the guys they signed, they really, I guess, made a big splash in free agency by signing the premier corner that was on the free agent market. Some really good defensive ends and whatnot. So they were really being touted as a dream team, and they started the season off 1-4, and only most recently won this past week's game. I think 20-16 or something like that. I mean, not really a stellar game by any extent. And of course, the Philadelphia Flyers, which is my favorite sport, is hockey. They've been pretty much a perennial disappointment. In the playoffs. I remember all the way back to I think it was 1997. I think it was 97. When they got swept out of the Stanley Cup Finals by the Detroit Red Wings. And most recently, a couple of years ago, they got knocked out of the Stanley Cup Finals in Game 6 by the Chicago Blackhawks on that, that fluky goal that Michael Leighton gave up. And I mean, hockey's my favorite sport. I mean, I follow that team more closely than anything else. I think football and baseball will probably be a really close tie for second. But considering how the Philadelphia teams have been pretty much perennial disappointments, I mean, except for the 2008 Phillies, I mean, they did win the World Series. But for like I said, this year they got knocked out of the playoffs by the Cardinals. And I said the Eagles starting off really bad, and it just seems like by listening to sports talk radio, a lot of these guys just can't seem to get over a bad season or a bad game by their local favorite sports teams. I'm sure you guys have experienced this a lot, in whatever sport you follow in your city, whether it be, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, for some of you guys in Europe, if soccer is your thing, maybe your soccer team didn't do as well as anticipated. But how much do you really let that carry it with you? I mean, do you guys really get personally affected by it? Some people go out and so far to say is that, they bleed their team's color, and they live and die with their team. I mean, as much of a fan as I am of sports, I mean, I've been a sports fan for as long as I possibly can remember. Like I said, I mean, I can tell you details going back to, the 80s and early 90s from when I was a kid with some of my favorite sports teams, like the 93 Phillies and that Joe Carter home run that Mitch Williams gave up. I still remember it. I remember watching the game like it was yesterday. But I seem to let things go pretty quick. I mean, it doesn't really affect me beyond when the game is over. A lot of times, my wife and my friends and I will go out and watch a playoff game, and we root and we cheer and we get excited when the team does well. And if they happen to lose, like I was watching the Phillies game at home this year, I'm like, okay, they lost, they blew it, they choked, whatever you want to call it. I was disappointed for a couple minutes. And then I went about the rest of my evening. I probably came up here, played some video games, watched some TV maybe, said goodnight to my wife, went to bed, and went to work the next morning. You know, it really didn't affect me beyond, you know, as soon as the game ended. You know, like I said, you know, I remember going out and watching the Flyers and the Bruins a couple of seasons ago when they were down 3-0 and came back and won 4 games straight. I mean, we went out and watched at a local bar, and you know, we cheered our asses off during that Game 7. You know, it was truly amazing. But I said, how much do you guys let it affect you? I mean, are you like me? Is it over as soon as the game ends? Do you carry that loss and that disappointment with you for days? Does it affect you from day to day? You know, for a week, maybe longer, till the next season starts? Just curious to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on that. And as always, I hope you really did enjoy the video. I will talk to all you soon, and I hope you have a good one.